Okay, so let's get right into it. We've all seen the posts, we've all heard the advice, right? That waking up before the sun is like the secret key to success. But is that really the whole story? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the actual science behind the 5 a.m. club.
I mean, this is basically the anthem of modern hustle culture. And you know what? It kind of seems to make sense when you look at the people at the very top. Apple's CEO, Tim Cook, he's up at 3:45 a.m. The CEO of Disney, 4 a.m. The message feels pretty loud and clear. You gotta wake up early to win. But hang on a second. If all it took was setting a crazy early alarm clock, wouldn't we all be running multinational corporations by now? This is exactly where that popular advice starts to fall apart, when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture. And check this out. This is where it gets really fascinating. The data shows that in all of Asia, Indonesians are the earliest risers. So if waking up early was this simple one-to-one secret for success, you would expect their national productivity to be leading the pack. But it's not. That tells you there's a huge piece of the puzzle that we're missing. And there it is. That's the real secret. It's not about simply having more hours in the day. It's about what you do with those hours. The whole point isn't to work longer. It's to get your mind and your body ready for peak performance. And honestly, this is the part that almost everyone overlooks. So, why is it so ridiculously hard to be productive, even when we have all the time in the world? Well, the answer is actually inside our own heads. There's a battle going on between two very different systems that are competing for control. See, on one side, you've got your ancient brain. All it cares about is survival, staying comfortable, and avoiding any kind of risk. And on the other side, you've got your mastery brain, which is the part that pushes us to grow, to be creative, and to take on new challenges. Every single morning, these two go to war. Just think of your ancient brain as your default setting. It's that voice in your head telling you, hey, just hit the snooze button, or let's put off that hard project till later, or just stay safe. It's not a character flaw. It's literally thousands of years of evolution designed to keep our ancestors from getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger.
The mastery brain, on the other hand, is the part we need to thrive in the world today. It's the source of our big ideas, our creativity, our desire to learn and build things. But here's the catch. Unlike that ancient brain, which is always on, the mastery brain doesn't just switch on by itself. You have to consciously fire it up. And this car engine analogy is just perfect. It gets to the heart of the problem. Most of us wake up, we immediately grab our phone, we start checking emails, and we just throw ourselves into the day. We are slamming the gas pedal on a totally cold engine. And what happens? Our reactive, survival-focused ancient brain takes the wheel, and we spend the rest of the day just putting out fires instead of actually making real progress.
So how do we fix this? How do we actually win the morning? Well, you need a system, a routine that's specifically designed to warm up that mastery brain. It's called the 20-20-20 formula, a simple 1-hour protocol that primes you for a day of focus and high performance.
And the framework is incredibly simple. It's just 20 minutes to move, 20 minutes to reflect, and 20 minutes to grow. This 1-hour block, people call it the victory hour, is how the most successful people get that head start. And here's the critical part. It's a head start on themselves, not just on their work.
The first 20 minutes are all about intense exercise. I mean, you gotta get sweaty. Getting your heart rate up first thing literally flushes out the stress hormone cortisol from your system. At the same time, your brain gets a hit of dopamine, which makes you feel great. You're clearing out the anxiety and paving the way for clear, focused thinking.
Okay, next up, 20 minutes to reflect. This could be anything, journaling about what's on your mind, meditating, or even just sitting in silence and planning out your day with intention. The goal here is to get some clarity and reconnect with what you're actually trying to achieve. This step is what really activates that mastery brain and gets it ready to learn.
And finally, the last 20 minutes are for growth. Now that your mind is calm, it's focused, it's activated, it's time to give it some high-quality nutrition. Read a few chapters of a book, listen to an insightful podcast, learn something new. You are literally feeding your brain when it is in its most receptive and powerful state.
All right, that all sounds fantastic, right? But let's be real for a second. How do you actually make something like this stick? Luckily, the science of habit formation gives us a pretty clear roadmap.
First things first, forget that 21 days thing you've always heard. Real, solid research shows it takes about 66 days on average to install a new habit so deeply that it just becomes automatic. And understanding this timeline is absolutely crucial because it is not an easy, straight line to get there. So these 66 days are broken into 3 distinct phases. The first 22 days are what they call destruction. You're breaking your old habit, and frankly, it's going to feel awful. Then you hit the next 22 days, the integration phase. This is where your old habit and your new habit are literally at war inside your brain. This is the danger zone where most people quit. But if you can just push through to that final phase, installation, that's when the new routine starts to feel normal, even easy.
So let's bring it all together. As we wrap this up, what is the real secret? What is the actual competitive advantage of waking up early?
Let's be crystal clear about this. Success doesn't come from waking up early to answer more emails. It comes from dedicating that first hour of the day entirely to yourself. This is your victory hour, a sacred, protected, distraction-free window of time to prime your mind, get aligned with your goals, and build a massive psychological edge before the rest of the world even has a chance to demand your attention.
So that really just leaves one final question for you to think about. Is your morning routine actually designed to warm up your engine for peak performance? Or are you just waking up and immediately slamming the gas pedal to the floor on a cold machine? The choice, as always, is yours.